My name is Emily, I am 29 years old, and I live in a small city in Oregon. For a long time, I thought my life was fairly stable. I had a steady job at a local bookstore, a cozy apartment that I shared with my boyfriend, Mark, and what I believed was a relationship built on trust and love. Mark and I had been living together for nearly 2 years, and while we hit a rough patch about 6 months ago, I was eager to work through it, believing that couples therapy and communication would bring us back to a good place. But reality had other plans for me, and what I discovered shattered my world. Mark told me he was going to visit his family, which was about 600 kilometers away, for a week. I was relieved at first, thinking it would be a chance for him to clear his head and for us to breathe a little. But instead of packing bags for a family trip, I saw with my own eyes a series of photos he somehow managed to take of me laughing and dining at a restaurant patio with my ex-boyfriend, having the time of my life. The betrayal cut deep, and I knew I had to find a way to respond. Mark was no longer the partner I thought I knew. I realized then that I needed to face the truth and reclaim control over my life, but the problem was far from simple. I was living month to month in the apartment, but the lease required 60 days notice before moving out. Mark was on the lease, but I was not, which meant I was trapped unless I could find a way to turn the situation around. I felt powerless at first, but as days passed, the pain of betrayal fueled a plan deep inside me. I decided not to confront Mark immediately, instead maintaining a distant demeanor, hinting at couples therapy but never pushing too hard. When Mark started avoiding intimacy and staying out late, claiming nights at a friend's place, I simply nodded and kept my own secrets. I knew that whenever new tenants came by to view the apartment, it was while Mark was away or distracted. But behind the scenes, I was plotting my revenge. I secretly gave my landlord notice and began hunting for a new place to live, all without letting Mark suspect a thing. The landlord, a good man who had always been discreet, agreed to help me quietly in exchange for ensuring that Mark was unaware of my plans. Over the next few weeks, the tension in the apartment grew as Mark's behavior became more erratic and distant. I stayed calm, letting the relationship deteriorate naturally while I prepared for the final act. On moving day, I hired a crew to arrive early in the morning and start packing up my belongings. When Mark awoke and asked what was happening, I showed him the photos I had found on his phone, evidence of his infidelity with my ex. The landlord joined in, informing Mark that he had until midnight to remove all his belongings, as new tenants were set to move in within 2 days, and the apartment needed to be cleared and cleaned. The look on Mark's face was a mixture of shock and defeat, as he realized he had lost not only me but his home as well. I snapped one last photo of the apartment. My clothes and toiletries piled in the main room, and nearly all the furniture had been mine all along, subtly reminding him that his hold was slipping away. The entire process was so calm and calculated that my friends still call it a legendary form of revenge. I did not yell or rage, I simply took back my life quietly and efficiently. In the end, I found a new place and, more importantly, a new sense of self-worth. The betrayal once seemed impossible to overcome, but through patience and a cool head, I turned my pain into power and I walked away stronger than ever before.